It's no longer gossip, ladies and gentlemen. This is live on-camera heartbreak. The man who referred to himself as the King of the South, Ty, simply went live. With tears in his eyes and a broken voice, he muttered, "He stole my family." Not a song, not a rumor. A man who has lost everything makes a confession. How does it feel to see your entire world leave with another man? Knowing that the woman you made empires with now calls someone else a baby makes it difficult to stand there. It has nothing to do with celebrity. Pain is at issue here. The kind that pride cannot conceal and money cannot repair. The live webcast was allegedly unplanned. That Tiny was unaware that he would go live. The identities, images, and sentiments behind that camera had the power to ruin more than just a marriage. It became a funeral in the comment section. Atlanta murmuring one question, haters laughing, and fans crying. Who is he referring to? Because this was more than simply treachery if what T implied is accurate. Inside the Harris house, there was battle. We all may know the man at the center of it, but we may not think of him that way. It began with the kind of silence that weighs more than words. Fans had been seeing anything strange about Ty and Tiny for weeks. No anniversary posts, no matching attire, and no lighthearted remarks on Instagram Live. Only distance. However, no one anticipated that Ty would cry in front of millions of people, muttering, "He stole my family." Atlanta felt the impact of that statement like a bullet. Everyone who had ever referred to them as relationship goals was frantically trying to unfollow them before the mess splattered on them as well. Let's take a moment to go back. One of the most unassailable legends in the industry was supposed to be the tale of Ty and Tiny's love. The hood fairy story that made it through the turbulence of reality TV, infidelity rumors, jail time, and stardom. They were the power couple that set their own rules and sneered at drama. However, there is always a villain in fairy tales. And it wasn't the media in this case. The blogs weren't the cause. The individual was inside the circle. Tiny has been spending more time in the studio lately, according to sources, by which we mean that one friend who never stops talking in group chats. It appeared benign at first. Regaining her sound and doing what she liked, she was recording once more. Then followed the unanswered calls and the late-night sessions. Excuses that always sounded a bit too scripted, like, the phone died. Fans then became aware of a new visage that was skulking around the periphery of Tiny's posts. Marco Ray was the name of a music producer. Marco was no longer an ordinary person. He was the type of person that enters a room and causes everyone to forget their purpose. New chain, new fade, and a reputation for bringing visibility to women. Before Tiny began bringing him up in interviews, he had collaborated with a few ATL artists, but nothing that shouted mainstream success. Simple statements such as, "Oh, Marco is really talented," or "Marco recognizes my voice." However, there is a sign that something is off for anyone who has been in a relationship long enough. The rumors had begun to simmer by the time T became aware of them. More quickly than Tiny could remove them, screenshots of Marco's remarks on Tiny's photos, which included fire emojis, hard eyes, and other typical digital flirtation, went viral on Twitter. And it was already too late when she did. The internet never forgets. This is where things start to turn ugly. According to those close to T.I., he learned about Marco from his own children rather than from a friend or blog. Consider that. Your own relatives alerting you to the presence of another man. It seems that Tiny had introduced Marco to the music industry. Additionally, his vigor was disliked by the children, particularly King Harris. He allegedly said to a pal, "Dude, that ain't right. Be too at ease in my home." At that point, T.I. lost it. Anger boiled beneath that cool southern swagger after weeks of stillness. You could hear the hurt in every syllable when he went live. He had no intention of being tough. All he was a man who saw his empire fall apart. "He stole my family," he added, but his voice broke. "Y'all can have the music, the money, but you don't take what's mine." The fans immediately divided into teams. After years of openly humiliating her, and Team Tiny said T.I. was acting like a victim. Check team. She ultimately passed a line you can't cross, he claimed. When bloggers began researching Marco Ray's past, they discovered a trail of former liaisons with businesswomen who also asserted that he was a career climber. Even a mysterious story was posted by one ex. While some men steal families, others steal beats. It was nuclear in shade. Tiny, meanwhile, said nothing. One Instagram story with the song "Truth Is" and a black love emoji, without any declaration or denial by the background music of Fantasia. A firestorm was started by that one post. Was she acknowledging it? Was she lamenting it? Or had she simply finished introducing herself to the world? In any case, the timing was too good to be true. Internal sources. And when we say inside, we mean someone who supposedly saw the direct messages before they were removed. Let's say Tiny and Marco had a deeper connection than just music. Calls in the middle of the night evolved into exclusive studio sessions. Private dinners were held in place of studio sessions. Private dinners became suspect enough for T.I. to hire a friend to keep an eye on her vehicle. And when T saw that Tiny hadn't exploded, his car was parked outside Marco's apartment until 3 in the morning, according to that friend. Not quite yet. He kept his calm and shared inspirational sayings about trust and the truth coming to light in due time. However, his lyrics contained the true hints. You ever feed a snake, then watch it bite the hand that built it? He whapped in a freestyle that he posted on Instagram. The fans went crazy. The comments came pouring in. Does he have Tiny in mind? Who is the snake? Marco is where? At that point, Tiny finally spoke, but she did it with a picture rather than words. She and Marco were seen holding hands at a charity function with the statement, "Growth is painful, but necessary." There were no tags or context, just a heartbreaking caption. Ty erased his entire Instagram account in a matter of minutes. He went live that same evening. There was mayhem during the live stream. Wearing the same helmet he had worn on stage the previous evening, Ty sat in his living room. He spoke in an honest, cracked, low voice. He described how he sacrificed himself for his family, how he built his house without ever using an asterisk. Then he stopped, uttered it, and stared directly into the camera. My family was taken by him. It exploded in the comments section. Thousands of individuals are recording their screens, taking screenshots, and making predictions. The video quickly went viral on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter with the hashtag #TIExposesTiny. It was dubbed a public meltdown by some. Some referred to it as a moment of truth. "This is no longer the king of the South," one person commented. "The king of broken hearts is this." And T added something extra just as fans believed the live stream was coming to an end, a clue that silenced everyone. He replied, "You ever look a man in the eye that you fed and he's the one who took everything you love? Yeah, I'm talking about you, bro." He then cut off the live stream. The internet went down. Bro, who was he? Did Marco do it? Was it a family member, friend, manager, or someone else close to him? Theories burst like pyrotechnics in a matter of hours. During T.I.'s Vegas performance weekend, a fan claimed to have screenshots of Tiny and Marco together in Miami. Someone else sent purported audio of Marco boasting to a pal. She promised to leave him. The most startling aspect, however, was a leaked text message from N. An unverified number appeared online, seemingly from Tiny herself. The text said, I'm sick of defending those who have never defended me." The fans' opinions were divided. Was she finally acknowledging that there was someone else, or was she just referring to T? Even celebrities began to comment on the controversy since it was so explosive. A mysterious tweet was shared by Candy Burris that read, "Sometimes the truth hurts louder than lies. Latasha," Tiny's ex-Cape bandmate, said below a blog post, "Praying for peace on both sides." However, there was no serenity in the Harris home. Ty had finished speaking now. He apparently moved out of their shared house into his former studio apartment in Atlanta, where he made his first album, turned off his comments, and stopped answering calls. It was dubbed full circle karma by fans. He referred to it as a reset. However, a new detail, a clip of T's home security camera footage, leaked just when everyone believed things couldn't get much worse. During T's tour, the video purportedly showed Tiny and Marco entering the residence together. The body language was loud enough to disrupt the internet, even though it wasn't explicit. Fans realized then that this was no publicity gimmick. It was authentic. Furthermore, T's statements weren't only angry if the clip was authentic. They were proof of treachery. The question remains unanswered as Section 1 comes to a close. Did Tiny truly have feelings for Marco? Or did she intend to harm T in the same manner that he had previously harmed her? Because this controversy is on the verge of turning from sadness into a full-fledged war of retaliation if the next round of leaks, the ones including the voice notes and hotel receipts, turn out to be accurate. Everything was altered by the leaked video. What began as murmurs became a digital firestorm. Now, dubious Twitter threads, TMZ-style blogs, and even random Reddit users were behaving like private investigators. Tiny and Marco were seen entering the Harris home late at night on the video. Just them, no entourage, no help. Her body language conveyed more information than her silence, and the lighting was dim. She gave the camera a quick glance before vanishing down the hallway. The internet was disrupted by that. Within an hour, hashtags such as Diya Ray exposed, War Tiny cheating scandal, as well as Diya Ti heartache live were popular. Fans who had previously referred to them as relationship objectives were now erasing past couple edits as if they had never been there. One thing emerged from all of that confusion. This wasn't just a passing fancy. This was planned, private, and intimate. According to insiders, the video was taken from a friend of T.I.'s who had access to a surveillance system. The video was purportedly sold by that same friend to a gossip magazine for $50,000. And you know what? All of T.I.'s remaining privacy was sold out. You could sense the hurt in the comments when that video was posted to YouTube. "You can hear his soul breaking," a fan remarked, through the quiet. This is where it becomes dark now. Ty reportedly returned to live streaming just 2 hours after the breach, this time to fight back rather than cry. He spoke in a different tone, surgical, icy, and serene. "You think you know, but you don't see," he continued. "I'm not new to betrayal. I've experienced betrayal from both friends and family, but this one struck me differently." He omitted names. He was not required to. This one was well known to all. However, peace is disliked by the internet. It requires receipts. Oh, they arrived. Screenshots purporting to be Tiny's private communications to Marco were shared by an unidentified account. "I can't keep hiding like this," the text said. "Although this life is complicated, I still adore you." Another note followed saying, "He'll never understand why I had to do this." The supporters didn't care if it was true or not. They provided sufficient evidence to stoke the fire. She was defended by some who claimed she was caught in a poisonous cycle. Others pulled, referring to her as the Jada Pinkett of Atlanta. Marco made the decision to clear his name in the interim. He blasted the worst day of the future in an Instagram story that he shared from inside his automobile while sporting fancy shades. His caption about the incompatibility of commitment and love. Yes, very subtle. The comments poured in a matter of minutes. "Bro, you took his wife. Imagine he's in a film. This is clout, not love." Then, as if in a soap drama, Marco completely erased his account. At that point, the unnamed insiders came back. Someone close to Tiny's management team claims that Marco was more than just her new partner. He served as her confidant, manager, and producer all at once. He claimed to have booked her, managed her new comeback record, and even accompanied her on her travels. He became everything to her, according to one insider. The lines quickly became hazy. However, T wasn't sitting in silence. Word got out that he began phoning people in the same industry and asking that they take sides. Old wounds began to reopen at that point. Producers, rappers, and even former co-workers began posting mysterious remarks on the internet. "Sometimes the strongest kings crumble from inside their castle," tweeted one former T.I. producer. "Never mix love and legacy," cautioned another. "Wait for this if you felt that was messy." There was a voice note. A 40-second audio clip purportedly showing Tiny sobbing and stating, "If this gets out, he won't ever forgive me." The voice was uncannily similar to hers. The same shaky breaths, the same southern accent, the same tone. The male voice in the background, however, offered the actual kicker. "You made your choice, sweetie. There's no turning back now." The voice instantly reminded fans of Marco's previous interviews. It was impossible to avoid the contest. All of a sudden, it wasn't just T who was heartbroken. They took possession of it. A public analysis of a ruined love affair. King Harris, their son, was the first member of the family to lose it. Angrily, he went live and yelled, "Ain't nobody going play with my daddy name. Y'all think y'all know, but y'all don't." You could see how hurt he was. Face torn between respect for his father and allegiance to his mother. His remarks went viral. He is being begged by fans to log off. He is being pushed by others to spill the tea. However, King stated something that no one had anticipated before he halted the live stream. "Bro, I saw him in our home. It's not a lie." Social media was ablaze after that one sentence. Since it was no longer a rumor, it was internal Harris family confirmation. And even the most devoted Tiny supporters began to turn away after King's speech. According to reports, T.I. hired a lawyer behind the scenes. There were rumors that he had frozen shared accounts, demanded custody, and filed for separation. According to financial bloggers, he even secretly moved assets under his own LLCs in order to save the business. It was a move that shouted battle rather than sadness. And Tiny responded right when everyone was expecting her to, but not in the way everybody anticipated. She shared a picture of herself wearing headphones in a recording studio on Instagram with the remark, "I sing my truth." No justifications, only music. Then she released a brand new song called Stealing Tranquility. The lyrics are harsh. You can sleep alone even after creating a loving home. You can lose your throne even if you feed a king. Everyone was aware of the song's intended recipient. It was dubbed Tiny's lemonade moment on the internet. Lyrics were being analyzed by bloggers like Bible passages, with each line being compared to her relationship timeline. "This isn't just a song," one fan commented. "It's a musically wrapped confession." Ty did not remain silent after hearing it as well. Hours. He posted a mysterious message following the song's release. Loyalty goes extinct when truth becomes fashionable. Just suffering passed off as wisdom. No hashtags, no tags. Even the mainstream media had jumped in by this point. It was constantly being covered by outlets like Hollywood Unlocked and Shade Room. It was dubbed the most celebrity separation in Atlanta since Offset and Cardi. Others contended that this was a new form of betrayal, one that was emotional, purposeful, and public, while talk shows discussed whether T.I. deserved it in light of his own prior rumors. One publication quoted an unnamed family friend as saying, "Ty could handle cheating, but betrayal from someone he trusted inside his own circle that broke him." Tiny had checked, according to another, years ago, but stayed because of the brand and the children. In any case, it was over, emotionally, not legally. Word got out that Marco left Atlanta for Los Angeles on the same night the video was leaked. He refused to answer questions when he was spotted at the airport with 2 duffel bags and a smirk by TMZ-style cameras. As he left, fans began screaming, "Homewrecker." "Did you really steal his family?" yelled one. "You can't steal what's already gone," Marco replied with a simple smile. Just that line turned into a meme goldmine. Every YouTube commenter, gossip website, and radio program had contributed by now. Tiny was accused by others of seeking a novel thrill. Ty was accused by others of pushing her away. But one thing stood out amid all the confusion. Once a sign of loyalty, the love story has become a masterwork of public ruin. And someone chose to make matters worse just as things were starting to calm down. A purported email leak appeared on the internet. TerraceOfficialOgmail.com is the sender. Marco Ray, the receiver. The headline reads, "We can't hide forever." The email's body was brief but comprehensive. "You assured me that you would never force me to choose between survival and love. I suppose you also lied about that." It didn't matter if it was fake. The idea that Tiny wasn't merely having an affair was strengthened by it. She was emotionally reliant, and T was now a man torn between retaliation and forgiveness. The conflict has only just begun as part 2 comes to a close. Ty is more than just devastated. He is getting ready to reveal all those involved in this. Because betrayal is not acceptable in his world. It's recorded. The next chapter isn't about love. If the speculations about what he's going to disclose next, the purported recordings, the screenshots, and that enigmatic voicemail Tiny pleaded with him not to share are accurate. Retaliation, reputation, and salvation are at stake. Being deceived is one thing, but having receipts, which T.I. had in abundance, is quite another. According to rumors, the man's breakdown involved more than just talking. Like battle evidence, he documented, preserved, and kept all the facts. Rumors circulated online that he had been gathering voice memos, texts, and even old recordings from studio sessions that may ruin careers. T.I. was going to finish up his retaliation, much like Tiny used to sing about heartbreak. Ty had been working on something dark, visceral, and heartbreakingly personal, according to one source, a so-called studio engineer who obviously enjoyed running his mouth. Not a documentary, not an album, not a diss track. The kind that begins with all of your preconceived notions is false. Family Heist is the rumored title of the project. Yes, being subtle was no longer the aim. However, this is where the danger begins. His silence was followed by the online disclosure of an enigmatic voice memo a few days later. Even though it was just 35 seconds long, it was enough to freeze the internet in its tracks. Tiny's quiet, apprehensive voice could be heard whispering, "Please don't tell him, Marco," on the clip. "He will ruin everything." You then hear Marco reply, "He did it already. The clip has ended." The fans went crazy. The entire story was turned upside down by just one leak. People stopped referring to T as the victim all of a sudden. He was referred to as the hunter. Had he been the one to leak it? Was this a calculated move? Or was it something someone in his camp was doing for clout? No one was aware. However, the harm had already been done. The reputation of Tiny is gone. Marco lost his credibility. It seems as though T had already buried the anguish and picked up a shovel for something more significant. There were additional rumors circulating behind the scenes. According to one account, T.I. spoke with a leading Buckhead lawyer about digital defamation. According to another, he was seen pacing the parking lot for almost an hour before leaving a studio that Marco was rumored to have co-owned. He was seen in paparazzi pictures with his eyes bulging, his face hard, and a hoodie on. He was a man who had been crying but didn't want the public to see it, according to one blogger. The anonymous plunge followed. Reddit users shared a folder called Truth Hurts, Real MP4. It spread everywhere in a matter of minutes. Discord, Telegram, Twitter, and even obscure YouTube videos. Screenshots of Tiny and Marco's text messages discussing plans that coincided exactly with dates were shown in the film. T.I. wasn't in town. "He's in Vegas," one message said. "Tonight is ours." "Clean everything out," urged another. "He has paranoia." The worst thing was that the timestamp in the corner corresponded to the night that T.I. performed in Vegas. The fans saw Tiny in Miami that same night. The parts of the puzzle were fitting together too well. It was more than simply an emotional betrayal. It was calculated. Online users began to conjecture that Marco had done more than simply steal Tiny. He entered the empire of T.I. Consider it. Access to a studio, commercial contacts, and inside knowledge about unreleased projects. As retaliation for being questioned, some even thought Marco leaked unreleased T.I. music to rivals. The notion went viral regardless of its veracity. Trending sites were dominated by hashtags like Sound Industry Spy and Sound T.I. vs Marco. One fact, however, became indisputable amid all the confusion. Ty was no longer breaking down. He was publicly reconstructing himself piece by piece. He stopped sharing quotes online. He began sharing evidence online. In a mysterious black and white video, he posted a table, a phone, and his voice uttering the words, "I told y'all I was patient." He then played a brief audio clip in which Marco was purportedly heard saying, "Big bro, she's with me now. You can't stop that." The internet almost blew up. Was it authentic? No one was able to verify. However, everyone realized it was genuine enough when Tiny's attorney issued a statement stating, "Private recordings have been unlawfully shared." The controversy couldn't be stopped after that. Every second of the leaked tape was examined by talk shows. Remix memes were created by fans using the statement, "He stole my family." Billboard and other major outlets began to cover it under the aftermath of the year for celebrity relationships. T.I. was now popular for mayhem rather than music. The press conference followed, which was unexpected. Ty attended a charity function. Like a guy who had finally come to terms with reality, he wore his shades calmly and collectedly. This time, Tiny didn't duck questions from reporters. "Love never dies," he added with a little smile. "It simply changes shape. I only needed to see my true shape." Then he turned to leave. Hours later, however, the genuine twist was revealed. DJ Ademix, a podcast presenter, revealed on his show that someone in Marco's inner circle had contacted him with evidence that the whole affair was about money, not simply adultery. Marco allegedly persuaded Tiny to transfer the joint rights to a project that they had contributed to. Something related to a television contract T co-founded years prior. The amount circulating is close to $2 million. Perhaps T wasn't merely discussing love when he claimed to have taken my family. He was discussing his brand, heritage, finances, trust, and everything else. When another leaked voicemail, this one from T himself, came to light, the plot took a new turn. "I don't want revenge," he said, sounding unnaturally composed. "I want the truth to be documented. That's all." Like wildfire, that audio turned him overnight, from villain to victim once more. Tiny, meantime, was reportedly admitted to the hospital due to stress and fatigue. Fans weren't buying it when her public relations staff pleaded with the public to preserve her privacy. They wanted explanations. She received comments like, "You ruined him," and "Say his name, Tiny," on every new post she made. The Harris family was running out of oxygen, and the internet was thriving on suffering. Then, out of the blue, T.I. posted a teaser for The Truth Ain't Free, coming shortly on YouTube. A dark figure was seen entering a studio in the video. "I ain't here to destroy nobody," the voiceover says. "All I'm doing is reminding them of who I am." Turn black. The trailer has ended. The fans went crazy. The comments were crazy. He truly made a documentary out of his sadness. Additionally, the photography of this man's suffering is superior to that of most Netflix series. However, no one had yet to grasp that T was doing more than just exposing Tiny and Marco. He was making the entire game public. The public relations teams, the managers, the phony allegiance, and the secrets exchanged for notoriety. "They turned my home into a headline," he remarked in one of the documentary's leaked excerpts. "Right now, I changed the course of history with their headlines." According to reports, Tiny's team attempted to halt the release. Attorneys sent letters and ceasefires. There were threats, but T.I. remained unflinching. The man's family was gone. What more might be lost? Marco vanished once more by the time the teaser reached 1 million views. No public appearances, pals that were ghosted, and deleted social media posts. However, one paparazzi image appeared, showing Marco sitting in a cafe in LA looking nervous, talking to someone who looked suspiciously like a producer. As stated in the description, plotting another story or running from one. When the dust started to settle, a last leak appeared. An unconfirmed text message purportedly sent by Tiny to one of her best friends. "Friend, do you regret it?" it said. "Tiny every day, but you can't repair a king's crown once you shatter it." And the world perceived it that way. It is now viewed as a fall of royalty rather than a scandal. A family torn apart by silence, ego, and betrayal that was previously based on loyalty, music, and money. Whether Ty and Tiny can get back together isn't the question anymore. What happens when the truth turns into entertainment is the true question. When sorrow turns into views and love into a hashtag. Because T.I. will release all of the recordings, emails, and video that he says he has. This will not be another breakup involving a star. Atlanta royalty will be the subject of a public autopsy. One eerie sentence from that live feed also keeps coming up as followers browse through their timelines. "My family was taken by him." However, it's possible that what T lost wasn't stolen. Perhaps it was gone long before anyone made a record. And here we are now. The remains of what was once love were exposed for the world to analyze. Once the Harris family, the royal dynasty of Atlanta, is now only heard in live feeds, sound snippets, and leaks. But there's a heartbeat behind every viral video. And every headline conceals a heartache that no one can truly comprehend. Ty lost more than just his wife. One individual who knew the youngster behind the king was lost to him. Furthermore, Tiny didn't simply leave a man. She entered a fire that destroyed everything they had constructed. The reality. In a tale like this, no one prevails. Not the wife, not the husband, not even the sidekick who believed that love could endure celebrity. Each tear turned into a tweet. Each secret was turned into a screenshot. And now, like a playlist, the entire world is scrolling through their suffering. What if, however, this is not the end? What happens if that enigmatic trailer, The Truth Ain't Free, isn't merely a documentary but a statement? What if T.I. has one more thing to reveal that might completely change the course of this story? Because if history has taught us anything, it is that silence is seldom maintained for very long. It's your time now. What do you think? Was Tiny the mastermind behind betrayal or the victim of emotional neglect? Did Marco act as a manipulator, or was he merely a mirror reflecting their marital problems? This narrative is no longer just theirs, so share your ideas, speculations, and most outrageous interpretations in the comment section. It is the property of all fans who have ever thought that love might endure celebrity. In this world of celebrity, devotion, and deception, this narrative is far from over, so please like, comment, and subscribe. It's only the beginning.